Hi, my name is Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cuff, and this evening I'm joined by Matt,
Steve,
Mark,
and we've just finished playing Champions of Midgard. We've also incidentally been playing with the Valhalla expansion. Now I'm going to explain the base game, and then Mark's going to explain what the expansion adds. It's a Viking-themed worker placement game, essentially. So you have a bunch of meeples here, and you're placing them in all these various spots here. You can see where a few people have been placing them in order to gain resources, and then ultimately that's going to help you to fight monsters. A big part of this, though, is the dice. There's various spots you can go here to get the dice, and each dice represents a Viking warrior, and you roll it in combat, which is going to give you a certain number of attack symbols, potentially. Some of them also have defense symbols. There we go, that's a shield. I'll talk a bit more about them in a minute, but roughly that's what you're doing. You're acquiring these things, and when you fight the monsters, you're going to get points, and most points wins. So let me just go over a few of the spaces. These ones are quite nice because they're variable each game, so you can go here to get some resources, get some wood and some food, spend some wood to get some red dice, that's these kind of Viking warriors, spend some coins to get white and black dice. You can see there's a whole pile of dice that come in the game that represent different kinds of warriors. You can spend food to get reroll tokens. They're very handy when you're fighting. You can spend those to reroll your dice. This just lets you acquire food, and these, if no one takes these, they kind of build up, so you can potentially get more than one dice here by taking these spots. You can get extra workers by paying money. This one lets you get more of the reroll tokens. You can take first player here. There are some special cards. You can go here to take one of these special cards that will give you a certain number of victory points, and usually a sort of one use special ability that can be quite handy. And then you also have this space which allows you to get end game scoring cards. If I just take one of these at random, this is going to give you points for having the most Valkyrie blessings at the end of the game, which is one of the kind of cards that you can get. So you've got your resources, and you decide you want to go fighting. There's a few different types of fighting you can do. You can go and fight the trolls, which is one way of getting wood, and importantly, if no one fights the troll, then you get blame, essentially, for the troll. And I wasn't very good at fighting the troll, so I got lots of these blame tokens, and you lose points at the end for having the blame tokens. These are kind of simple monsters you can fight that are going to get you money if you defeat them. Combat's very straightforward. You roll your dice, however many dice you've got. You count at the number of attack symbols, and you're trying to beat their shield value here. And any attack that they do that you don't have shields for is going to kill one of your dice, and it just goes back in the pool. So you're constantly acquiring more dice and losing them when you go into combat. But what you really want to do is fight the big powerful monsters here, which are going to give you can see, lots of points. In order to do that, though, you've got to sail. So you can go to this spot to buy a boat. I bought a boat here, and it has a certain capacity, so you can take a certain number of your sort of Viking warrior dice in here, but you also have to feed these. So when you send them out to fight a monster, depending on which monster you're fighting, you have to pay a certain amount of food. The red cubes represent the food, so you kind of acquire this and you send it with the Viking warriors to try and fight the monster. Again, it's very straightforward. That's the attack value, that's the defense value, and there's normally some kind of bonus. In this case, you're getting a reroll token if you defeat this, as well as lots of points. So you're running around doing this. You count up your end game scoring from any card you got at the end, and whoever has the most points wins. Mark, do you want to just tell us what the expansion adds?
Yeah, it adds really three things. The first is your leader die and an extra special personal ability, because each character has their own one, and it just adds another one to that. The second one, it adds 2 new dice types, which are the Berserkers, which have lots of hits, but they must be killed off first, and Valkyries that can both hit and defend at the same time, like every other dice. But the main thing it adds, unlike the base game, so every time now when a dice dies, and for whatever method, you gain these tokens, so 1 per dice, and then you can trade them in on this lovely board up here, either to defeat these epic monsters that are worth lots of points to give you bonuses, or these Valkyrie blessings that can either get you points or various other abilities. That's basically what it adds.
Okay, what do we think of it?
I really liked it. I think my leader had the worst ability, which doesn't come up very often. It's only when you roll a helmet on your blue dice. But every time I did it, I was like, "Ooh, what can I do? Nothing good. I'll get some wood. Brilliant." But yeah, Sailor V. But yeah, the way the game works, and I really like the expansion with the letting your dice die and then using their souls to do stuff in Valhalla. I think is really cool. And yeah, I think it's a really solid game, and I definitely like to play it again.
Okay, Steve?
Yeah, I like it. It is. I think when you've played it before, it will be quite quick. I think we took a bit of time because a couple of us got up from the game and stuff, and we were a bit unsure what to do. But generally, it's very quick. The actions are, apart from the fighting itself, the actions are extremely quick, and you've got lots of options on your turn. Although, as usual with a good worker placement game, the action you really want has just been taken nearly every time. So that's like that. It's nice to see that the best monsters don't always get fought. So basically, different monsters give you different rewards. The monsters up here, the easy monsters to fight, don't give you any points, but they give you money, and money can be used to kind of buy stuff and trade with stuff and whatnot. Fighting the troll is good. If you fight the troll every round, you can share out the blame to other people and get none yourself, and blame loses your points at the end of the game. And there's also like set collection as well. One of the end game conditions is you're trying to get monsters of different colours. So I might not want to get the 15-point monster because I've already got enough blue ones. I might want to go for the 11-point monster because I need some more red ones or something like that. So that's nice. It's just all these little extra bits to kind of make your decisions. You know, it's not just obvious what to do every time. So that's quite nice. I do think though we start to run out of some of the cards. Basically, we cycle through all the end game scoring cards that you can get through because my ability let me look at 2 at once, and Jonathan went there loads of times and stuff. So the fact that we'd seen all the cards when we start getting cards back again maybe it's a round too long or something like that. But otherwise, yeah, solid game.
Okay, Mark?
Yeah, I think this is definitely pitched at like Lords of Waterdeep level as like a relatively basic worker placement because it's fairly easy to work out what's going on. There's a few extra bits. I like the fact that we all have our own end game scoring cards that you can get that only you can score them, but you do care what the people are doing. It adds an extra bit going on. Because I've actually played with and without the expansion, I do much prefer it with the expansion. I think the fact that just because you're losing warriors, you can then use that for something else, just makes it a much better game. Because nobody wants to. They have a really terrible roll. They lose 4 or 5 warriors, and it's like, oh well, now I have to start from scratch again. Now, sometimes you want your warriors to die because you can get a lot of points. Certainly towards the end of the game, trading them in for 8 points, whatever, is really good. So yeah, it's solid. It's obviously pitched at a level for newer gamers. I think it works really well with that.
Rating?
For me, I'd give it 7.5.
Okay, Steve?
I was 6.5.
I'd actually give it 8 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, Mark summarised it very well, I think. It's a nice sort of entry-level worker placement. The worker placement does feel quite tight. As Steve says, people are often taking the spot that you want just before you need it. And there's some tricky decisions. There's not much of an engine building part to the game. It's very much about go out and kill this monster, then go out and kill the next monster. You're just kind of going from monster to monster as you go through the game. And there's quite a bit of randomness. For some other worker placement games would be very strategy heavy, but this one with the dice, there's quite a few blank sides on those dice. It can be quite swingy. You often have to send some extra resources just to guarantee that you're going to get success. The reroll tokens do help with that a lot. One thing I didn't mention is when you go out sailing to defeat these monsters, there's a kind of random event that you're drawing here, so which might be fine, it might be all quiet, or it might be, for instance, that you lose one of your dice en route in a whirlpool. So lots of little random things like that make it interesting and eventful, but hard to plan strategy at the same time. So mixed feelings about that one. I thought the expansion was great though, because if you just lose your dice and they're gone, it's like, oh, all my Vikings have just died. But having these extra tokens, you can do something with them, and those cards can give you quite a lot of extra points or some nice bonuses. I thought that was great. Really recommend the Valhalla expansion. All right, thanks for my rating, of course. I'd be on a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching. That was Champions of Midgard and the Valhalla expansion.